Do you swim? If you don't, you gotta learn swimming. And if you do, then you gotta swim like him. Who is this mysterious person, you ask? I'm going to introduce him shortly. I am Reena Dsouza. And you're watching The Reena Dsouza Show. The Reena Dsouza Show is co-partnered with Grey Nichols in association with Radio Indigo 91.9 FM, Chasing Perfection Events Private Limited, and The Naked Eye Motion Pictures. Location partners, Fandom Gillies, Kodamangala. Talent management partners, Games Unlimited. NGO partner, Trinity Care Foundation. Makeup and hair, Santosh Pyarelal Chautal. Wardrobe partners, Mridne. The mysterious boy that we are talking about hails from JP Nagar, Bangalore. Yes, the Reena Dsouza Show has now arrived to Bangalore, and we are introducing to you our next sports personality. That is the para swimmer. He is someone who's got so many medals, and not to say, let's introduce him and bring you forward. He is Niranjan Mukundan. So Niranjan, you have been a great guest here. Thank you for taking time out and joining us. So while you and I had a conversation, you told me that 2014 was a break, right? You couldn't do anything. And 2015 became a turning point, and there were so many medals. Tell me about it.
2014, I had a surgery on my leg and I was off practice for almost like 8-9 months. And 2015 was a big year for me because I had a lot of events lined up in 2015. And still remember when I went to the World Games, I was the only one who represented India at the Games. And when I went there was this US coach who saw me and he said, "How many of you are here?" And I was like, "I'm the only one from India who's representing the Games." And he said, "How many events you taking part?" And I told him, "There are 10 events and I'm taking part in all the 10 events." And we get the psych sheets, usually the heat sheets, the competitor sheets. He had it in his hand and he started scratching out my name from each event that I used to take part. I asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "See Niranjan, usually at these games Asians don't do well, and maybe scratching out your name from this list is going to be one competitor less for my swimmer, and that's going to boost up his confidence." I just smiled at him and walked away from that place. 3 days down, when the events got over, I was crowned as the Junior World Champion.
Wow.
I won 10 medals out of all the 10 events that I took part, out of which 7 were gold.
Congratulations! And tell me the response of that man who just told you that.
He just came running towards me. There was a guard of honor that was made by 34 countries which took part, and I was crowned and titled as the Junior World Champion. And the same coach who spoke like that the other day came running towards me and he said, "Probably I should have scratched my swimmer's name out. You are a true legend."
Wow.
That's something that, I'm going to take it till my grave.
I am so pleased that we are having conversation with the legend. But this recalls when we had a conversation. Till the age of 5, you were paralyzed and your parents had to go through so much, not just probably moving around or taking care, but also from people, and they were taunting around. Tell me about it.
Well, I was born with a medical condition called spina bifida, and 1 in 10 lakh kids were born like that with that condition, and I was virtually paralyzed, and my parents used to carry me everywhere from my room to the hall to everywhere possible. And when we used to go for some events or functions, people used to say, "Why are you carrying your child everywhere? Probably just lock him at home and you both come for awards and functions and all other stuff." My parents didn't hear them, and they were deaf at that time. They wanted to make me feel comfortable, and they never treated me differently. They wanted me to be a normal child like every other parent wanted their child to be.
Wow, I think that's how the parents are. I think
True.
I would rather say their strength has given you so much more, and I was also told that their only wish was to make you stand on your toes, isn't it?
Yes.
So how did it happen?
So since birth, I have undergone 16 major surgeries, and the first surgery happened 2 months after my birth, and every 4 months or 6 months I used to have a surgery, and every doctor used to find some other reason to have another surgery. Whenever this happened, I was not able to stand up, and my parents' first wish or dream was to see their kids stand up, and I think that happened when I was 6 years old, when one of the doctors performed a surgery and he said, either horse riding or swimming can strengthen his leg and make him stand up. When I recall that, that was like a big moment for us in my life and my parents' life for sure.
And why did you choose swimming then?
Well, being a small kid, seeing that gigantic figure of a horse, I was very scared, and to sit on it and go on it was something which I didn't want to do, and sitting on an animal was something which I felt very scary at that age. So probably I thought staying in the water would be much easier and comfortable for me, so I chose swimming, and like people say, I just fell in love with the sport and the rest is history.
So during all this journey, I'm certain your parents have gone through so much, isn't it? So tell us about your parents' struggles. How was their situation? Tell us about it.
When they initially put me into swimming, it was with the sole intention that I should just stand up on land. And once I got into swimming, I took it like a fish, and I started walking, I started swimming, I started moving from one place to another, which was faster than that I was on land. So they were very happy to see me enjoy in the water. Though people used to say that, probably your son is going to be crippled for life, or probably, he's not going to stand up or not going to walk, or all those comments. But then, they were deaf. As I always say, that they were deaf. They did not want that negative energy, or they did not want that negative vibe to spread in our family. So they always said, we always have another chance. Having 16 surgeries since birth is something.
16 surgeries since birth. Oh
yes.
My God. Oh my God. I think they have gone through so much then, isn't
True.
it? Okay.
They've been a backbone for me. They've been my role model. They've been a backbone. They've been a pillar of strength till date.
And for the 16 surgeries, how was your financial condition of the family? Could your parents support it, or did somebody else support you? How was it?
I mean, my family, I was like a pampered kid in my child. So in my family. So my uncle, my family, the whole family, we were a group family, big family. So all of them supported for the surgeries, but at the end of the day, it came up to my parents, my dad and mom, who were working at that stage at that time, and they took up the sole responsibility, and I'm here today.
Wow. So from 5 years to 6 years, right? 6 years is when you stood for the first time.
Yes.
So what happened when your parents saw that?
It was a very happy, and I think words can't express that, because once they put me in the water, I started walking, which was mesmerizing for them, because they couldn't see their kid walk on land, but it's walking.
And they didn't see it for 5 years.
For 5 years since birth, so they haven't seen that. First time when they saw, I could see that tears on my mom's eyes and my dad's eyes. So that was something which I feel that's the greatest achievement in my life at that stage of my life.
And that tears were the tears of joy.
Definitely. And once I started swimming, I fell in love with the sport, and from then there's been no look back in my swimming career.
Wow. So when we talk about all this, was there anybody like a coach who helped you do it or helped you cope up with it? And you also mentioned when we had a chat saying that your parents got some colorful shoes, a countless quantity. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So once I started swimming, usually kids take 21 days to learn, and I learned it in 10 days.
10 days?
Yes.
I'm going to learn some swimming from you. Believe me, I can float easily. Tell us.
So once they put me in the water in the shallow end, I used to swim my way to the deep end. Now when I remember, I think a lot of instructors lost their job because of me, because they used to put me in the shallow end, and I used to, swim my way to the deep end where, the expertise or a mid-level swimmer used to swim. And I just got introduced to swimming, and I used to love water, so that, when you put me into the shallow end, I just swim my way to the deep end. And one day at home, when we were just talking, and my parents came up and said, probably you should try standing on land. You've been practicing doing it in water, so why don't you do that? And with help of minimum support of my mother's hand, I stood up, and that was the first time ever in 5 years of my birth that I stood up on land. So that was like an achievement, and I could see that tears of joy in my parents' eyes, and that was like the first step that I kept, and I moved.
And those 5 years, if I have to precisely ask you, how did you go to school? Did your parents give you a wheelchair as a child, or what did they do?
No, my parents had that policy that they would never put me on a wheelchair. Whatever happens, whatever struggle happens, they will carry me. So like any other kid, they used to carry me to the classrooms, put me there, make me sit on the front bench, and 9-10 periods I used to sit there, and then they used to again carry me back. Since a small kid, or since my childhood, I have this, this craze towards shoes. You can see that, I have these glowing shoes that I wear everywhere, and I like that shoes and stuff. So though I was not able to walk, or though I was not able to stand up, I used to have like 6 to 7 pairs of shoes always stocked up in my room.
I would say that is a positive way that your parents put it across to the universe to make it happen, isn't it?
Definitely. Probably they had that way before in their mind that I'm going to walk in the next 6 months or 1 year, that they had like a stack of shoes in my room. And I still remember when I started walking at the age of 6, I had 10 pairs of shoes, different colors and stuff. Though I was not able to use them at once, they made sure that whatever I love, I have it at that time.
Wow, that's how parents love is,
Definitely.
isn't it? Brilliant. So we are also, we have this information that you are not just a para swimmer, Asian Games winner, you've also represented for, and you've won for the golden quadrilateral, isn't it?
Right.
So you represented, you were there as a, you've been the part of national and Asian game there.
Right.
So tell us more about it.
So this happened recently, 1 year ago, when I was down with an injury, and I was advised by the doctors not to get into the water for about 3-4 weeks. So I had one of my friend who came up from the States, and I love driving cars. I do hold a normal driving license, and I zoom around Bangalore whenever I find time with the cars. So we had this challenge, or the quadrilateral going up, the golden quadrilateral, which connects between the 4 metropolitan cities. That is Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi and Kolkata. And there was already an existing record of 130 hours which someone had created probably 10 years ago. And I thought I might as well try this and see how this is going to work. So we started off on this journey, and every day I had a reason to give up. Every day there were like weather conditions, my car broke down, I was the only one who was driving, so I had no help, probable help at different remote places of India and stuff. But then I thought probably I should keep moving on and leave all the negative side aside. And by the end of the event, I broke the national record as well as I entered the Asian record with around 8 to 10 hours of spare.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
such a record holder.
Right.
Lovely. So there was nobody who made such a record before that.
No.
Wow, that is fantastic. So was there any coach that helped you be who you are today?
Definitely. So when initially I started swimming, I took up swimming as part of aquatherapy, and then one of this coach here in Bangalore, Mr. John Christopher, he came up and said, probably your kid has a lot more potential who can take up swimming more than aquatherapy. Probably he can be a Paralympic swimmer one day. Initially, when my parents heard this, it was like beyond our heads, because for us the main motive was to stand up or to walk, to lead a normal life. But then to represent India, to represent Karnataka, and to be one of the top swimmers in the world was something that we have heard and seen in TV. But then we did not have that in mind that I would become one of the India's top swimmers. So all credit goes to my coach as well, definitely.
And coach, his name is John.
John Christopher.
John, yes. Lovely. So we also know that you're associated with Go Sports Foundation. Go Sports Foundation is working towards the holistic development of athletes, both
Right.
Olympians and Paralympians, since
Right.
2008.
Yes.
So tell us, how important is in a sportsman's career an association with a foundation like Go Sports?
Definitely, it's been a great journey with Go Sports. So ever since I started representing India, I first represented India in 2012. Though I was not able to win any medals for India, my performance caught eyes of a lot of people. And one major thing which happened was getting into Go Sports. I got introduced to Go Sports in 2012. My first representation of India, representing India, was in 2012. Though I was not able to win any medals at that time, my performance caught eyes for many people there, and then Go Sports came forward and they started supporting me since then. They've not only been supporting me financially, but they have been giving me access to a lot of expertise, nutrition, fitness, and I was also introduced for some high performance training abroad. So that's been a great exposure for me, and winning medals ever since 2012, Go Sports have played a very major role in that.
Brilliant. So when we talk about Go Sport, I know you've got a role model who's associated with Go Sport, who got associated after your association, right? So tell me about him.
So the role model you're talking about is, he doesn't need an introduction. He's our very own Rahul Dravid. So he's been my role model since childhood. I've been watching his games, you know, ever since I started loving cricket. Since my childhood, I've been watching his games on and off field. He's been a gentleman, and I'm sure everybody is going to agree to it. So once I got the news that Go Sports advisory board member has a new person, and that too it's from cricket, and that too it's Rahul Dravid, I was overwhelmed. And I still remember talking to one of the Go Sport leads when Rahul Dravid was about to come to the office. They said, we have one of your greatest fans and he wants to meet you. And I still remember I went there 2 hours in advance just to meet him. and that was like a dream come true. And ever since then, I've met him a lot of times, and every time I meet him, it's like goosebumps for me. And I'm like awestruck that, you know, whenever he asks me some questions, I'll not be able to answer. If he asks me, how's your training going on? You got to work on this, you got to work on that. I'm like, it's like that fan moment. That is.
Do I watch him or do I listen to him?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So when you spoke to Rahul Dravid for the first time, how long was the conversation?
It was for around 20 to 30 minutes, and you know, he was asking about me. Though I wanted to know what he's doing, what is his next match, why was he the highest run scorer, and how did he became that, how did he catch this and stuff. I did not have a chance to ask him questions, and I was so awestruck that he knew so much about me. He knew that, you know, he was asking things about what's my future plans going to be, what's my next event, how am I preparing for it. And I was so awestruck, and I still remember out of the 30 minutes of conversation, 20 minutes I was just awestruck looking at him. Oh.
I would rather say one legend met another one that day, isn't it? So that's great. Is there any friend or your family member, because it's been a journey of 23 years, so long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So have you met someone who's mentored you, or has there been someone who's touched your heart?
I mean, I would primarily say my parents. They have been the pillar of support for me. They've been everything. You be it my best friend, you be it a mentor, or you be it everything and anything you want. My parents have been a pillar of support, and they've never said a no to me. That is one thing that I always say. They've never said a no to me. Do I want a car? Yes, I have it. Do I want a shoe? Yes, I have it. They've always pampered me and made sure that I am comforted. So like all parents, I think my parents are my role models.
Wow, that's brilliant. So we are very happy, Niranjan, that you joined us here in the conversation. But you know, we've been having a lot of top-end conversation, and this is like the hot conversations. How about we lighten it and play a game? Is that okay?
Awesome.
And if there's somebody who wants to take up swimming as a career, what are the simple steps he or she can take up to?
Swimming is not just a competitive sport. You can also call it as a life-saving sport.
So is there a suggestion that you would like to give to the young sports people?
Do what you love. Love what you do.
Your first fan moment that you remember?
Meeting Rahul Dravid. She just pushed my mom and she's like, Anna, can I take a selfie with you? I'm like, okay, that's my mom. So,
wow. So who's your favorite star in Sandalwood then?
Upendra.